Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Good evening, as per the Indian clock, to all our participants, organizing members, and distinguished guests. I hope I am audible to everybody, and I welcome you all to the first guest lecture of the Pahal SRIP 2025, titled as Reimaging Research Through Community Based Participatory Research, Granting Power, Participation, and Purpose to Research. This theme invites us to pause, reflect, and reorient the way we approach academic research. That is, not as something done to communities, but with them. In this spirit, we gather not just as learners, but as co creators of knowledge. As your host for this session, I thank each one of you for joining us today, whether you are here to listen, question, or contribute to this session. We have an enriching session ahead and a question answer session which will follow the keynote address. And you may unmute yourself or post your questions in the chat box alongside. Getting back, it is my absolute privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for this session, that is Dr. Sona Dixit, Assistant Professor at the Faculty of Education, Dayalbagh Educational Institute, Agra. Dr. Dikshit's career is a testament to the belief that education and research must serve a larger human purpose. With over 18 years of academic and institutional experience, she has emerged as a passionate and visionary advocate for value based education, human rights, and innovative pedagogical frameworks that intersect with the critical domains of the current world scenario. She holds a PhD in education alongside is a MA and MA, which is followed by the qualification of JRF in education and NET, that is the National Entrance Test in human rights, signifying her interdisciplinary academic rigor. Her professional journey has seen her serve as a senior lecturer at JDVM PG College, Kanpur, as the principal and head of Faculty of Education at Symbiosia Girls College, Agra, and a visiting fellow at both Dayalbagh Educational Institute and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Agra. But what truly distinguishes her is her work that lies beyond the titles, her deep commitment to making research accessible, ethical, and impactful. She has spoken and written extensively on gender inclusivity, sustainable habits, and community engagement. Her co authored works, including Ambedkar and Human Rights and the Sustainable Habit Scale, echoes the very spirit of today's discussion, democratizing knowledge and connecting research with lived realities. Dr. Dikshit is also the creator of the Sustainable Habit Scale, a standardized tool aimed at assessing sustainable behavior practices, which is a testament to her innovation. Her voice has reached the academic forums ranging from BHU to Karlstad University in Sweden and from Pune to Hiroshima as a speaker, chair, and contributor. With a log of 5 international and national publications, she has graced numerous conferences, from the academic seminars to legal symposia. At every stage, she has emphasized on one essential idea, that is, education is the most powerful when it is participatory, when it builds bridges between classrooms and community. Thereby, with sincere respect, I invite you all to join me in welcoming Dr. Sona Dikshit, our esteemed keynote speaker, who will help us reimagine research, not just as an academic task, but as a collective act of transformation. Dr. Dikshit, we are truly honored to have you with us. We look forward to hearing from you actively shaping our thoughts and request you to address this virtual meeting. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. And I'm truly humbled by such a detailed introduction to myself. Uh, I am not what all you have said, but it is just the trial and error that is going on till this stage, where we are trying to uh, involve more pedagogy and different type of practices to actually create critical thinkers amongst us, so that whatever you do is meaningful to your own self as well as to the society. So, be it in whatever profession you are, it is very, very important to be meaningful so that you can contribute very well to the society and also to this universe. So, thank you very much. I don't know your name, but you really spoke well. Thank you for such a nice introduction. And first of all, I'd like to thank the organizers and Dr. Neetu Singh, my colleague, for such an opportunity which she has given me. Today, what we are going to talk about is on CBPR, that is community based participatory research. I hope my PowerPoint is visible to all of you. Can you see the slides?
No, ma'am, it is not shared yet.
Yeah, not yet.
No, I have shared it.
Yeah.
Now we can see.
Has it come up? Can you see the slides now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As I move the slide, did you see the second slide?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Okay, okay, thank you. So I know you are all researchers and you may be from different fields like engineering, education, public health, law, or the social sciences. So today we would like to offer insights into a research method that is radically inclusive, power sensitive, and change oriented. This is CBPR, community based participatory research. It's not just about generating knowledge, it's about co creating knowledge that matters to communities. So, what we are going to discuss today is what is CBPR, what is its historical evolution, what are the methods and processes involved, how it is different from traditional research, what is its global relevance. We will be also seeing some case studies and the ethical dilemmas behind using this method of research. And then we will reflect and carry on some takeaways with us. So, today we will basically be discussing community based participatory research. Now, community based participatory research, I'll tell you from where I learned it. We at the Albag were sent to Malaysia for via the University of Victoria. It has a chair on community based participatory research led by Bud Hall and Rajesh Tandon. Rajesh Tandon is from India, while Bud Hall is from the University of Victoria. And that is where we learned this CBPR, that is community based participatory research. And therein we were taught, and then we started with a course with the University of Victoria. And then three of us from the university were declared as mentors. Right now, we have a Dialbag hub established at our university where you can learn CBPR and also you can practice CBPR with us. So, let us first know what is CBPR and why we need to visit it, why we need to see it. So, before I begin, let me share with you uh, an article which came up in the Guardian recently. I'll just share it. So, have any one of you heard of this community-based participatory research, if I may ask? Yes?
Yeah, no, ma'am.
No, I haven't heard.
So, you all are researchers, is it?
I am a student.
Okay. Student doing various courses. You are in the postgraduate stage, is it?
I am an undergraduate. Tuition.
Okay, that's good. Anyone of the postgraduates out here who is in the group?
I have completed my postgraduate. Currently, I'm a chemistry faculty for NEET and JEE.
That's good. So, like, see, there was COVID a few years back. We faced it. We are still on with it. So, how do you think that community could assist in resolving our problems with the spread of the virus?
Uh,
Yes. Do you think the community contributed in helping
yes,
us?
we can help each other by sharing the knowledge uh, how not to get affected by this with our knowledge, and to
Yes.
others we can share.
Yes.
That's it from my side.
Okay. So you are right in that we shared our knowledge, right? Because this was one of this pandemic struck us after a long time. You know, before this we used to have many different kind of diseases and all, uh, where and these and during these diseases, like we had plague, we had cholera, right? You must have heard of that. That was a very long time back when we had these diseases, and people knew how to isolate themselves at that time. So those people, they contributed to telling us that yes, it is during this time that we do this, and how we what kind of antibiotics or what kind of things we should be taking, right? Like about tulsi. So we've been having tulsi whenever we feel we get a cold, or we have a cough. We have this kada, which we say in India, right? So these are the things which we started to take, and which helped us in in facing the pandemic. So what is this? This is what community-based participatory research is, right? Where we are using our knowledge. We are using the knowledge of the community to help us out, right? So this is what is helping us, and this is how we are dealing with the problems. So this is the article which I was looking for. This article is about a, it was published recently in the Guardian, and it tells us about how a 15th century Indian singing tradition helped stop wildfires in Odisha. You know that in Odisha there are very frequent wildfires. The forest comes under fire just due to the negligence of the villagers. So these women, in the 15th century, long back ago, they used to go about singing to people and telling them about what precautions to take, and how to how to change their methods of living, of life, so that they could live a happier life. So to avoid these wildfires, you know, avoid the fires in the forest, which are very devastating, because you they used to collect the dry leaves from the forest and then burn them. So what happens is, this was a tradition because they thought that they will have a very good crop if they do this on the soil. So when you burn something, then the forest also catches fire. So even this is what the message that these women were again asked to convey to people. So now, right now, this old tradition has come up, and they are going around this mandali that they have formed. They go around the villagers and teach them and motivate them to make them aware of the wildfires that are existing in the forest due to the habits of the villagers. So this is how CBPR works. When the community participates, right? It's not necessary that everything every medicine that the doctor gives you is correct. Okay, it will heal you. But there are some home remedies that we try always, don't we? So we have a very diverse culture around the world, and this diversity helps us cure many things, right? Not only the diseases, but also the social evils. So we have to learn from each other. And this is community based participatory research where the community has an equal participation. So while dealing with this agenda, let us now start with what is CBPR. That is community based participatory research. I hope you can see my slides. Is a collaborative approach to research that involves all partners. It involves the community members, the researchers, and the practitioners as well in every step of the research process. The basic idea is to blend knowledge and action for social change. What we want to bring about, we want to bring about social change. And why we forget that the aim of research is to bring about change, to solve problems. And so we have to look for problems directly in the community with the help of the people of the community. So this is this alone would be very helpful if we if we understand the importance of what research is. So the key features or the key principles of community-based participatory research, this recognizes community as a unit of identity. That is, a community here is an unit, is something that has its own identity. Okay, and it builds on community strengths and resources. It is research which is community based, which is for the community, it is with the community. So the community strengths and resources are all brought to good use here during the research. And it facilitates collaborative partnerships also. It is a co-learning process, a mutual benefit. That is what benefit the university or the researcher has. That is, his work is published, it is recognized. That is what we are doing research for, aren't we? So, and the second thing is that the community is benefiting by it. So it is mutual benefit, and there is co-learning. You don't reject the ideas of the community members. You don't say this is not scientific, what you are doing is wrong. But they have been doing it since generations. So how do we think that they can always be wrong? So this is co-learning and mutual benefit here, and it balances research and action. We not only do research here, but we have to act upon the problems. We have to try and test our hypothesis right in the community. So this balances both research and action, and it is a long-term engagement. long-term engagement between the researcher, the university, as well as with the community where the research is taking place. So it has a lot of local relevance and it is based on ecological perspectives. So you know that your research doesn't remain academic, but it becomes meaningful and is useful to different communities. Then now let us see what is the basic difference between CBPR and traditional research. When we talk of traditional research treats communities as subjects. Now, in case you were to do any kind of research, what do? We go to the community and we treat them as subjects. Who are subjects? Subjects meaning that they are the people on whom we are researching, right? We are doing our research on those people. So what happens is these where we treat them as subjects. We are doing our research on them. We are testing something on them. But here in CBPR, we treat the communities as partners of research. Okay, so traditional research is basically researcher driven, and it is CBPR is co-driven. There are two people who are to the community and the researcher, okay, who are working on the same thing. This is what we said, that here the community in traditional research, they are subjects. People are subjects. What are subjects? They are the people on whom we are doing research. We want to try one new tablet. We give the community people to eat that tablet. But here, as a co-researcher, the community is also will tell you what type of tablet. So, am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you able to listen? I was talking. Okay.
Yeah.
So here there is detached objectivity. What do you understand by this detached objectivity when we do traditional research? Whenever we do research, exactly, we are detached with the people there. You do your experiment on the people, then get detached and let them go wherever they want to go, and your results are with you, right? Your results are with you, and there is objectivity. We look for objectivity. Science says that do everything objectively, but we are working with the people, we are working with the community, so you can't be objective in that. But CBPR encourages engaged reflexivity. Reflexivity in that these whatever we do is reciprocal. Okay, it will impact the community, and that community is also engaged with us in the research. When we do traditional research, we are writing journals, we are writing our reports. Whereas in CBPR, what are we doing? We are accessing different types of format. Whatever format is accessible to us, we use that. Now, what are these methods we will be doing next? This is traditional research is extractive. You have to extract the information, go and gather the information about people, go and gather the information about things. Whereas CBPR is reciprocal. The community will talk to you and you talk to the community. It is reciprocal in nature. It is not, you don't have to go and take the water out of the well. Okay? The community will itself contribute. The well will itself fill up and you can taste the water. So this is a reciprocal kind of research. Now, what are the basic historical roots of CBPR? CBPR is not very new to us, but the only debate that we have had with CBPR and traditional methods of research, why it has not been given the due importance that it should have been given, is because what we did was we we thought that it should all be very scientific, right? That it should be more objective, research should be objective, and we did not look at the actual subjectivity in it. We did not look for those methods where there would be dialogue between both the parties. So, Paul Ferreira's book, The Pedagogy of the Oppressed, it was written in 1970s and it laid the foundation for critical pedagogy. The idea that the education should empower the marginalized to question and transform their world. It is very, very often the people in question are never asked. We never ask anybody what actually they want or what kind of problems they are facing. What we do is we formulate a research problem and we solve it and then we put upon the solutions on them. So this is not right. The point is here when we talk of critical consciousness, Ferreira emphasized dialogue, he emphasized reflection and action, which are the core of CBPR. His influence marked a shift from top down instruction to co creation of knowledge with those affected. The other person who comes into play here is Kurt Lewin and his action research. He's called the father of action research, and he introduced that research should lead to change. It was way back in 1940s that he did some experiments on organizational behavior and he highlighted the potential of involving subjects in both diagnosing and solving problems. The third is the feminine methodologies, which challenged the idea of a neutral researcher. They argued that research is inherently political and called for the inclusion of lived experience and emotional labor in the production of knowledge. So these traditional intellectual traditions, along with the indigenous knowledge systems, they intersect in CBPR. It's dialogical, like Ferreira's work, action-oriented, like Lewin's, and power-conscious, like the feminists. So it also gives due importance to the rich heritage. So it is a deeply grounded methodological approach born from decades of struggle and advocacy. Now, coming to the CBPR process, how it is done. First, you have to form a diverse partnership. Partnership meaning you have to go to the community and respect the diversity there. Go and be with the community. Build trust and relationship. Without building trust, the community will not confide in you. Nobody will tell you about their problems. Nobody will discuss anything with you. Then you have to identify the issues collaboratively. Whatever issue or whatever problem you decide to work upon has to be collaboratively. Alone, you cannot decide. The researcher or the institution or the higher education institution will not decide what your problem will be. The problem statement will itself come from the community and from yourself. Co-develop methods. How are you going to conduct or collect data? So you have to develop the methods and co-develop them. The researcher is not doing research alone. It is with the community. Collect and analyze data together. Disseminate jointly. Whatever message or whatever research solutions you have found, those have to be disseminated jointly, the community with the researcher. And implement action and then revisit. You have to implement whatever action you are taking place and you have to revisit to find out what else is left out and what else is more to do. The CBPR methods. Among the CBPR methods come the community forums and focus groups. Now, the basic thing, we don't gather opinion here. Just like some other sociology researches, we are not gathering only opinions. What we do here, we the there is facilitation by the community members who create safe spaces for dialogue. The questions are shaped by the community, and often the decision is done collectively. The other is participatory or community mapping. This allows residents to document their lived environments. This could include physical spaces, risks, assets, or even memories tied to certain locations. Now, these maps can become powerful tools in advocating for policy or infrastructural changes. We are going to see case studies where community mapping has played a wonderful role in solving problems. Next is photo voice. Now, photo voice is a method where participants use cameras to capture elements of their daily lives, challenges, or successes. They then provide narratives for these images. It's especially effective for populations that may find verbal or written expression difficult. The co-design surveys ensure, now these are co-designed with the community and the researcher, they ensure cultural relevance and higher response rates. Very often when you give a survey to people, they don't answer. Why they don't answer? Because they are not okay with your questions. So when they do, the questions may not have cultural relevance. So these communities here, they help draft the survey, they test it and even distribute these surveys, which increases trust and the richness of the data that we get. Storytelling and oral histories, participatory videos. These enables community members to script, shoot, edit videos that document their stories or research findings. So these are the basic methods and even more which we use in CBPR. Now let us take up some case studies on CBPR, how CBPR changed the lives of people. The first study is in 2014, Flint, Michigan, faced a public health emergency when the city's water supply became contaminated with lead. Traditional top-down research failed to address this crisis until community members partnered with researchers from Virginia Tech. Together, they tested water samples using citizen science kits. They co-mapped contamination and collectively analyzed data. The findings led to lawsuits, policy reform, and widespread media coverage. Here, the problem was that the government did not pay any heed when people said that they were dying due to lead pollution. So, people themselves, they partnered with researchers from Virginia Tech. The community partnered, and then what did they do? The outcome was that in this event, it gathered national attention and then there was a systemic change. So you can see the results of CBPR. The next case study is about Wakizo in Uganda. In Uganda's Wakizo district, youth teamed up with researchers to address a lack of public toilets. Using GPS-enabled devices, they mapped the distribution of sanitation facilities, identified underserved areas, and used these maps to lobby the government. What happened is that there were toilets, the government was making toilets, right? The public toilets were being built by the government. But in this place, many of the places were left out. So what the youth did, they did sanitation mapping. They went to different places and they, on the global maps, they enabled the devices to look for places where there were no toilets. So in this way, they what they did was youth leadership came up, and the outcome was that informed infrastructure planning and improved sanitation access. Then more toilets were built by the government. So the youth took up the task and they did this mapping. The next case study is in Canada, where for years the First Nations communities, they are First Nations indigenous communities in Canada, they were subject to research without consent. They were not given, you know, no consent was taken from them. And what they did was, without their consent, uh, health research was carried out. But then CBPR, by using these methods, the community-based participatory research, they allowed indigenous groups to define research priorities. They created ethical protocols aligned with cultural values. So health research now led to better maternal and mental health services. What happens is when you go to indigenous places or indigenous areas to do some research or to help them out, they resist you. They don't allow you. They will not tell you how a mother gives birth to a child there, how they carry out these activities, or how they what problems they are facing. So what they had to do is the researchers had to build trust with them. They had to build ethical frameworks so that their own culture or their own beliefs were not disturbed or altered. Rather, they took most benefit now of the improved services, improved health services, and they welcomed the researchers to work with them. So the key CBPR element here is research sovereignty and decolonized ethics. Now, the ethics here was decolonized in that only you don't follow the Western culture of ethics. That is, everything is right. Yeah, in our country, we don't interfere with the government or whatever. But decolonization of ethics led to the respect for the indigenous culture. That's why there was trust building and sustainable healthcare interventions took place. In the next study, that was the case study of Gujarat, here farmers in Gujarat were facing a lot of climate variability. You can see it even now. They worked with scientists together to develop cropping calendars based on traditional practices and modern climate models. So they use their own practices as well as the modern climate methods. And the locally adapted agriculture strategies were also used, and this improved yields and inclusion also. So the key CBPR element here is blending traditional knowledge with scientific tools, and the outcome was that yield improved, inclusion of women farmers, and better adaptation strategies could take place. The next case study is from South Africa, where sex workers in South Africa co-created HIV education and outreach programs with researchers. They designed peer-led education initiatives, created materials aligned with real community needs, and co-evaluated outcomes to refine strategies. These sex workers, they spread the news awareness about HIV. So what happened is this reduces stigma. That is, when the community people go about telling your own people about the HIV or awareness for HIV, then it reduces the stigma and people are ready to cooperate. They become ready to tell us their problems. So this was a community defined health messaging, and the outcome was that it increased access to care, reduced the stigma, and responsive policy changes took place. So, overall, we see that when we do community based participatory research, there is a lot of challenge to us. Power dynamics. People will stop you. People will not permit you to go to this place or that place, to collaborate with someone, to talk to the head man, or there will be a lot of politics. Then, we have the challenge is to avoid tokenism. We might say that we have taken in people from indigenous societies with us, And there may be one or two, we just click their photographs and say they also participated in our research. But that is a big challenge. We have to take the whole community into this research process. Then timelines. This type of research takes a lot of time, and we have to, for research, we have a specific timeline, which may be very challenging, and also the funding. Then sharing the authorship and data is another challenge here, that who will be the actual author and the data, whether it should be shared with those people or not, or whether it is, there are ethical considerations here, whether the data for research should be shared with the public as a whole or not. So coming to our educational implications of CBPR, how it is helping us. The first thing is that when we follow this approach, it democratizes learning. It shifts the knowledge creation from the classroom to the community, promoting inclusive, lived, and experiential learning. Now, just imagine if your teacher or if your administration tells you that you make your timetable yourself, which subject you will study when, how much time you want to devote to each subject, or for what subject you need more coaching or whatever. Now, if you co-create your timetable with your administration, you will learn better, won't you? You will try to experience well. So the idea of involving the community in question, whether be it a classroom. If the teacher asks you today, what do you want to study today? What method should we use today? Then you feel so happy, don't you? You are so excited to learn. So this, what happens is, everyone benefits with it. So it creates a kind of entire environment of democracy. Then it develops critical thinking. So here it encourages learners to question power, authority, and the purpose of knowledge as a whole. Enhances civic engagements. We know that, when the research enters the community, then we make our citizens also active. And they realize that it is their social responsibility to contribute to solving the problems of the community. It bridges theory and practice. It merges the academic concepts with real world impact. Now, because researchers from academia are joining in with the community, so there is a merge of this academic knowledge, of the knowledge of the researchers with the real world. And this creates it impacts both. It impacts both the institutions as well as the society in question. It promotes cultural sensitivity. Now, when learners are exposed to diverse local and indigenous perspectives, then what happens? It promotes the cultural sensitivity. You try to understand, that some things may be culturally sensitive. Okay, so you learn that there is a lot of diversity, and you grow to learn and mature that we are all, a diverse community, but we still are one. Yeah, there is a sense of a unity in this diversity. So it builds our research capacity also. It empowers the students and the communities with meaningful research skills. See, CBPR isn't an easy approach. The easiest approach is to just collect data, data from places, and then you analyze the data and you come to results. But CBPR talks about real people who co-create knowledge with you, who help you in the survey process, who create those surveys and etc. and other types of data with you. And then, this creates research skills which are more meaningful than only analysis and synthesis of data. The societal impacts of CBPR are that it empowers the marginalized voices. It brings lived experiences into the center of decision making, builds community trust in research. Now, the community also trusts the research. They respect the research because they see tangible outcomes of research. It fosters social innovation. Co-designed solutions are more relevant, practical, and culturally sensitive. It strengthens the local institutions. The capacity of grassroots organizations and community leaders it's become strong. It promotes equity and justice. It shifts the power dynamics in favor of inclusive and participatory governance. It also encourages collective action because it mobilizes communities to address shared challenges and advocate for systemic change. Now, why CBPR now? Why are we talking of community-based participatory research in the present times? First of all, there is a decline interest in academic research. Academic research is losing trust. The communities do not trust the academic research because they know that some of this academic research is just for obtaining a PhD degree, and they actually do not resolve or bring about practical solutions to problems of the society. Complex global problems need local insight. It is very important to resolve complex global problems by according to local insight. That is, you have to ask the local people what their problems are, what is the impact of the solutions that you have given to them. So it is important for the involvement of the community in dealing with the problems that they are facing. Decolonization of knowledge systems is very important. That is, knowledge systems are diverse. We have different types of knowledge systems exist right now. The Western world has its own set of knowledge system. The Eastern world has another set of knowledge system. The indigenous societies and communities the world over, they have their knowledge system. So why not decolonize them? Why not all merge together and we can use the solutions obtained from one colony to and we can apply them to another society or community at large. More sustainable community owned solutions are now required. So now let us have our reflections on who is your community, how can they be involved, and what assumptions are challenged. Can any one of you answer these questions? Who do you think is your community and how can they be involved and what assumptions are challenged here? Yes, yes,
Ma'am,
please.
I
Yes.
guess my community is the local peoples whom I want to get involved with and get the research done. Like what are their problems and understand what their problem are. Uh, Leaving to the part that what colonial people have their study, but local people have their own problems, so they can be my community.
What challenges do you think will come across?
The first primary challenge is the local people sometimes hesitate that some outsider is coming and might try to change us or steal our traditional knowledge about what they do or something like that. Would be their hesitant of
Yes.
not getting involved with us.
So how do you think you can approach them?
By building a trust that we are also among you all, we are also like you all only, and staying with them, building love with everyone, and understanding what other like what local people want from us to
Okay,
build their trust.
very good, Isha. Uh, yeah, so it is about asking the community what their problems are, right? Going to the community, and then how can these people from the community, how can they be involved? How will you, in at which stage of research will you involve them? Anyone else?
We should involve them from the very beginning because to identify a problem, you have to know what problems is the community going through.
Exactly.
Also, yes, we have to shape and we have to know how the data is being collected. How would they prefer it to be in like every community has their culture, their values, and their own history. So you have to know them from. You have to know every basic point, so you can start your research from that. I think.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So here it is that you're doing research, but it is community based, you know. It is participation of the community. You are not the researcher alone. Okay. The community is also part of your research. They are also doing research. Right? So this is type of co-creation of knowledge. So this is where we need to reflect upon what is our community, the place where we are doing research or the problem that we are trying to solve. Okay, so whenever we have a research problem in mind, we have to think that who are going to benefit by this, whatever we are doing, what will be the societal benefit, how people will understand or how people will be able to solve their problems and which problems will be solved by them. So, coming to my slide on the food for thought, like we have to think here that this is research beyond labs, into the homes, into the streets. It is not just data, but change, right? And it is a deep transformation. So, the society is saying these words that there is nothing about us. You can't do any research on us without us. So, this is the basic idea of community based participatory research. So, the key takeaways here would be that it democratizes knowledge and it provides sustainable solutions. And what we require is what qualities you require as a researcher here is a lot of humility. Like Isha said, that you will go to them and tell them that we are all alike and we share similar problems, etc., etc. You build trust and love with them. So this requires a lot of humility, and there is power sharing also. So one party is not extra powerful; both of them share the power amongst themselves. So thank you very much. This was all in my orientation towards community-based participatory research. And now I invite questions from your side.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I'd like to ask, in your experience, how do you ensure or how does one ensure that the community partners remain genuinely engaged throughout all stages of the CBPR process, especially during data analysis and dissemination?
Yeah, very, very good question. So actually, when the community is involved, you know, we we know when this involvement word, like there are degrees to the involvement that you are talking about, that some may be involved only to agree with you. Yeah, they are in agreement with you. Okay, you do the research, we will help you out. And then they move out of your group or the people that you are working with. But this is, what happens is it has a reverse influence also. Once you start doing research, it is not about conducting a 1 day survey or analyzing data alone. It is about testing whatever solutions that you are bringing about on a everyday basis. Like very recently, there was a research batch, a boy and a girl who are engineers. They went to a village for apprenticeship. They have this training in IIT Mumbai, and these two children, they were sent to a village where they stayed with a family. There were around 20 houses in that village. It was a small village, and they went to stay. So there in the like whoever's house, they were given accommodation. They saw that the lady She was working on a chula. You must have heard of a chula, the way they blow into it, okay? So that they
Yeah.
blow into the wood so that, and it causes harmful effects to the woman who is blowing into the chula to raise the fire. So what the girl did was she built a small instrument, a wire instrument. She went to the city close by shops, etc., and bought some wires and all, and fitted some coils in the chula. So what happened was that now her from her house there was no black smoke coming out. Now, when the other house people they visited that lady and they said that aren't you cooking nowadays? Why there is no black smoke coming out of your house? So she told them that see these people have come from the city and they built this for me. So then the other women from the different houses, they also came out and requested the girl to make the similar coils for them. Then they had to place orders, and then these boy and girl, both of them engineers, they made the coils for everyone. So now they had come to resolve another issue in the village. But when this thing crossed like fire, that they know solutions, they can work well, then everybody collaborated. Okay, there is gross enthusiasm in the community, and people in the community are not like other people who are who are involved only superficially. If they are involved, they get involved throughout the process. They will help you throughout the process. They will ask you the results also. Like we go to a medical camp, we have medical camps where we go to rural areas, and what we do is we set up recreational areas for the students, which Neetu ma'am can share with you. So there, if you go there and children are drawing or doing something, and you tell them that if you draw well, next the one who draws the best in my next visit, I will give you this. Okay, I will let you know who stands first. So they will come again and again to ask you, have you seen who stood first? Who is the person who has drawn the best? Okay, so they ask results. Community wants results. And because of these results, they are helping you out. They are not helping you for the sake of helping you. You are not giving them anything in return except for the results. So they are there with you towards the end of the research. They will not give up. You are the one who might give up and go away.
Yeah.
So uh, I think it is the other way around. They are more enthusiastic because it is their problem, no? They want it resolved.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
other
I'll
question?
keep that in mind.
Hello,
Any
am
other?
I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Anji,
You
so
are.
I wanted to ask, so most of us here are either students or like researchers who are sort of starting out, as far as I'm
Okay.
aware. Would you have any advice for, let's say, people like us who are starting off or in the earlier stages of their researches to maybe use the principles that we've spoken about today and like small scale projects, academic projects, and so on?
Yeah, exactly. Why not? See, whatever field of research you are taking up, whatever field, it might be any subject. There is a core subject like sustainability that we talk about. Sustainability can be taken with any of the subjects that you are doing. It is basically your field of study where you have to integrate. Now, once you integrate something like sustainability in your field of work, then you have to go to the community for solutions, because what we have done to the planet is what we have done. It wasn't so earlier. So there are solutions with the community for these problems. And seeing the present times, we are looking for a more sustainable planet. So you can mix up qualitative and quantitative methods. Okay, it's not that when you have CBPR, you can't do quantitative methods. You can do quantitative methods of research as well, but involve some case studies, involve a qualitative research along with this quantitative research that academia supports or wants you to do. But now let me tell you that things are changing. Their perspectives are changing globally, and people are more, research is more oriented towards quality, towards qualitative improvements. It's not important that you do a research on 20,000 people and then get results. It is important that you do research on 5 people, but do it in depth. So, qualitative research, case studies, action research, these have gained more importance, and you can even bring out very good publications if you do such type of research. This is what the next generation is being asked of.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Any other question?
Yes, I had one more. So,
Yeah.
can you share about more about how CBPR has influenced actual policy change in the case studies that were in the presentation, particularly in
Yeah.
context of like Gujarat or South Africa?
Yeah, exactly. I have there are research papers where you can find them in detail. These case studies, research papers have been written about them where CBPR was used. Like I told you about Uganda, you can find all these studies on the internet. They are not something which are not there right now. This is where the society is helping you. It's like, there were no, there is, what they did was people, they created awareness. Okay. They created awareness about where to, of sanitizing, sanitation methods like washing of hands, of the, of going to toilets in the fields or in the open air. Like they showed how the flies sit on them and then they sit on your food. So these type of things, when awareness was created, so people started digging holes outside their house. In Africa, you can find there, and this led to a government action on, that we are building a lot of public toilets and all, but they were not enough for the people there. So the youth, they took up this activity and they created a uh, GPS app in their device where they could, find out where there were no toilets in this area. So this is how they helped the mapping, and then the government had to take these initiatives to go about. And now, where I was talking about, you wanted to know about the Gujarat experiment. Here, the farmers,
Yeah.
they worked with the scientists to develop these calendars based on both traditional practices and modern climate models. Like, when they used to crop their fields, so they had to they should know when to crop. Cropping and sowing both are very scientific things. Now, if we keep doing the same all over and over again, the crops are not coming up nice. So they contacted these scientists and develop proper calendars, that is when to crop them, and the modern climate models, how to adopt your farming to the modern climate models, because we all know that climate is changing, and when scientists help them to understand, so and then it was co-creation, like both of them together, because the farmer only can tell you the problems, what problems he faces, how the crop, why the crop isn't growing, or why he's not able to get the proper yield as he was getting before. So they, the agriculture strategies were, together, co-created together, and then this blend of knowledge, what happened was this improved the yield. So you can see this on the internet. I can send you the links to all these case studies which we have done, which we have spoken about. These I'll send them to Neetu ma'am. She will forward to you. These are all research studies. Also, a lot of research has been done on CBPR. Also, CBPR methods have been used. So it is basically that we do all this, commonly we try to resolve problem using the community's help. But why not do research in that way? Why not involve institutions and higher education institutions with their knowledge, with their training? When they will be involved in CBPR, then there will be a larger amount of change in society. We will
Yeah.
see look problems solved. Day to day problems will be solved because there will be sharing of knowledge. No, when one country faces a problem and using CBPR they resolve the problem, then the other community, because institutions share, they write they write their research. When research is written, it is published, then we also will read and we can also resolve our problems in that way. So this kind of knowledge sharing develops a network, because basically we are all humans. No, nobody likes war. Nobody likes insanitation. Nobody likes diseases. So why not adapt and adopt together? That is the idea of CVPR.
Yes.
So any other question?
Yes, ma'am. Am
Yeah,
I audible?
please. Yeah, you are.
So there are communities with really strong social hierarchies, usually based on like caste, gender, and age as well. So how do researchers make sure that the research is not becoming too biased to a certain group of people?
No, no, here, this is the biggest challenge. Like we've discussed, no, in the ethical consideration, that cannot be biased. There is no point of being biased. You have to be open. That is why you go directly to the community. No, you go to the headman, you go to the people there. You have to do one-to-one talk. And the methods that I discussed with you, like there was one method which I told you I recently read a study on that photo voice. What they did was it's not about taking photographs alone. It is where they use cameras to capture the elements, okay, of the daily lives, challenges or successes. Here, what they did was in one study, they five girls were five, not only girls, there were boys also, 5 to 6 children who were suffering from HIV/AIDS. They were given cameras and they were asked to take their own photographs, okay, when they are having their medicines or whatever happens during their daily lives, in their daily routine, to take their photographs. And then these photographs, these children were brought in together and they described what was happening in the photographs. So the other child also, when they were they narrated, one of the children narrated what he saw in the photograph or what he was doing at that time. The other child also relates to it. So we get to know what are the problems and solutions. Haven't you seen women talking to each other, like when they were cooking at that time? At that time, there was a mishap, or they couldn't make bread of the proper quality, or the cake did not rise, or whatever. So, how they discuss with each other, don't they? They discuss with each other that you put more of baking soda, or didn't you preheat the oven? So, like, there is a problem and the solution is there. So, it is one to one talk. And there are these methods themselves are such that they make you elicit responses and they make you discuss, which brings about solutions on their own. So this is how it makes it very beautiful. CBPR methods are very beautiful. Like, and I can tell you about one experiment that I did in CBPR itself. We went to different schools in a far-fetched village, and there I was we asked, you know, children to thank. They could thank their mother or their family, anybody to thank. We just gave them 2 or 3 slips, and we asked them just write a thank you note to anyone you like, and write for what you thank them. So, so many children, they thank their mothers that you give me food every day, or you stop me getting scolding from my father. The other child wrote that you are my idol. Like it was a neighbor who was a police officer, and that child wanted to be like him. So, their views. And then we just put them, those pin boards, put all their views on pin boards, and they came out and read out as to who helps them. Okay. And after this exercise, like children were so happy. They were happy to share. And the next day when we went for another activity, they so readily they came and they really liked the activity. They liked speaking to us. So this kind of trust building, it develops on its own. So you can involve a larger community. There you can see who is, because this is more inclusive in nature. So you have to be unbiased over there. That is the quality of a researcher. And you have to be very humble also, because they might react in a wrong way, or you might be threatened. Okay, there might be different other ways also. They might try to put you away. So that is a thing which comes after long term association. So you have to build that, and you have to ensure that it is not limited to only a few people, or to the powerful people alone. It is like listening to the last, the least, the lowest, and the lost. You have to involve all of them.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. Any other question? I see you all have a lot of curiosity now about CBPR, and I'm very happy. My basic aim here was to orient about CBPR, community-based participatory research. And I hope you do it. You can do it with anyone, anywhere, at any stage of education. And you can talk to the maids that you have at home. You can talk to them about their problems or what they do, and then you can visit their community, and help resolve their problems. You can teach their children in your vacation, etc., etc. You can do so much, because this is, research with the community work also that you will be doing. Yes, I invite more questions at your end. I'd really love to see all of you also.
Can everyone please turn on your camera so we can capture a few moments?
Um, in last, I would like to pay my really thankful note to Dr. Sona Dixit ji. Really, this was a very beautiful and rich session to us, and I can say that it is the one of the most uh, uh, participating the students, the researchers who attended interns, who attended the session, involved in it, and get I think rich knowledge through this. So I am very thankful on behalf of our Hello Horizon to Dr. Sona Dixit ji. Thank you very much, Sona ji. So really, it's
Thank you
great.
so
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
I
Yes, so
think
can we
the
close the
session
session?
is over here. Yes, yes. No, no question.
Okay.
And again, thank you. And I think this session has been completed. So I think we should leave. We can leave.
So,
Thank
Thank you,
you
ma'am.
so much. Thank you to Neetu ma'am and the other organizers. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I hope I'm able to create the curiosity I wish to. Thank
Thank you,
you.
please,
ma'am.
please give us a minute. Please give us a minute.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
fine.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Now that we're coming close to the end of this informative event, I would like to take this opportunity to extend my sincere gratitude on behalf of the entire team at Pahal Horizon. I would like to start by thanking Dr. Sona Dixit for taking out time from her busy schedule and being with us here today. Your talk about reimagining research through community based participatory research was very insightful and thought provoking and offered us a fresh perspective, especially for aspiring researchers. Also, a big thank you to Dr. Yatrendra Singh for being with us here today. I would also like to express my gratitude towards the organizing team whose efforts have ensured the smooth running of these sessions, and a big thanks to all the participants who joined and engaged with us, which added depth and value to this discussion. With that, let's officially conclude today's session. Thank you once again, Dr. Sona Dixit, Dr. Yatrendra Singh, and everyone present here. Have a good evening ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Thank you very much.